In the United Kingdom alone, more than 18,000 supercars was bought in 2021 alone. And it is projected that the industry is going to be worth over $18 billion in the US alone by the end of 2022. But where did the term supercar come from? And who pioneered the genius invention? The history of automobiles could never be complete without looking at the world's first supercar, the Lamborghini Miura. In this video, we will look at how the invention came to be and how a man named Lucio Bertone partnered with one of the leading car manufacturers to create the Lamborghini Miura to bring about a new era of luxury, mixed with performance and ergonomic designs for the automobile industry. The supercar is the peak mix between extreme luxury and extreme performance in an automobile, so it is no wonder that people are willing to spend large sums of money, up to $18.7 million after taxes, for the Bugatti La Voiture Noire to acquire a high-end supercar. They are, after all, a status symbol pointing to incredible wealth. While some cars that are tagged as supercars today could reach speeds of up to 270.49 miles per hour or 435.3 kilometers per hour, the first-generation supercars were only able to reach around 180 miles per hour, meaning that the definition of a supercar might have changed over time, right? Well, let us start by defining clearly what a supercar is. Unlike the old American advertising gimmick that uses the word super as a prefix for new cars with only luxury features, modern-day supercars are thought to be cars that are expensive, exceedingly attractive, and incredibly fast. However, the right usage of this phrase is frequently subjective and still contested, particularly among aficionados. What makes a supercar is sometimes debatable. Furthermore, the term's use is strongly influenced by the era. A car that was formerly called a supercar may lose its supremacy in the future. Some may argue that what distinguishes an automobile as a supercar is its scarcity, while others would base their decisions on acceleration and peak speed. Autocar, the world's oldest and most prestigious vehicle publication, lists several definitions of a supercar, but eventually also succumb to the question of subjectivity. According to them, determining whether or not a car is a supercar is a matter of blind bias. A supercar is more about your thinking than it is about the car's specifications. If it makes your eyes pop and your jaw drop, it's a supercar. It's also worth noting that the word supercar refers to factory-built, typically unmodified street-legal automobiles. Vehicles that have been heavily modified and may be unlawful on the street do not qualify as supercars. The next question is, who first made a supercar? The man who first made his vision for the supercar come true was Lucio Bertone. Lucio Bertone is widely regarded as the finest vehicle designer of all time. His design house was one of the world's most well-known and long-lasting design houses. Under his direction, the Bertone business produced unique and commercially successful designs for major automobile manufacturers like Alfa Romeo and Lamborghini. With his brainchild, the Lamborghini Miura, he is widely acknowledged as the originator of the supercar. He was responsible for the realization of pioneering concept vehicles, the building of automobile plants, and the discovery and development of brilliant new young brains. The Bertone Company was a breeding ground for bright talents who went on to become highly recognized automobile designers in their own right. Among them was Franco Scalone, who created the Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale and the prototype for the Lamborghini 350 GTV Coupe, Giovanni Michelotti, who created the Maserati 5000 GT and Ferrari 330 GT, Marcello Gandini, who created the Maserati Quattroporte 2 and 4, as well as Lamborghini Countach, and Giorgetto Gugiro, who created the Ferrari GG50 and the Maserati Spider. Bertone had a penchant for identifying fresh potential and nurturing it, and in the end, these investments paid off as one of his proteges helped him build one of the first supercars ever, the Lamborghini Miura. In 1963, Lamborghini showed a prototype of the Lamborghini Miura, and 2 years later, when the concept was made into a fully functioning, ready-to-order car, it became known as the very first supercar in the modern sense of the word. When the Miura was finally launched in 1966, it was the fastest commercial vehicle in the world. Because of its distinction and elegance, the Miura earned Lamborghini an international following among automobile experts. Faurizio Lamborghini was initially skeptical of the mid-engine, two-seater idea, believing it would divert attention away from the company's main emphasis, Lamborghini's finest engineers created one of the 4 development prototypes, called the P400 prototype, before the first production Miura was finished on April 20th, 1967. The Miura P400 GT prototype for the P400 debuted at the 1966 Geneva Motor Show, where it stole the show and trounced its competition, the Ferrari 330 GTC. Its unrivaled speed of 198 miles per hour and attractive, seductive design astonished reporters and attendees. Aside from its mind-bending speed, it also had a traversing-mounted 350 horsepower, 4.0-liter V12 engine built by Bizzarri. The front and rear decks opened in a clamshell fashion, and the fixed back seats gave it a fashionable touch. However, excessive chassis flex and issues with the narrow tires forced Lamborghini to make many upgrades during the Miura's manufacturing run. Lamborghini presented Miura's second generation, the P400S Miura, at the Turin Motor Show in 1968, a few years after the original P400. A lockable glove box, fitted power windows, and optional air conditioning were among the minor modifications. It was outfitted with a newly strengthened chassis and Series 70 Pirelli Cinturato redials. The combustion chambers were redesigned, and higher lift cams and bigger carburetors mounted on fatter manifolds increased horsepower to an impressive 370 bhp. Despite its progression from the regular P400, the P400S performed similarly to the standard P400. However, handling was much improved. Though the Miura S changed in a variety of ways during its manufacturing, the majority of its power boost was absorbed by its new tires. The Miura S was later proven to be one of the quickest Lamborghinis of its time. For the 1968 Geneva show, Gandini and Bertone created the only roadster in existence. The Roadster was distinguished by bigger air intakes, a lower rollover hood, and a larger spoiler. Other changes to the Roadster included new taillights and a stronger box section construction to enable the car to handle the extra weights absorbed by the roof. While Ferruccio Lamborghini had no desire to erase the Miura, his development driver Bob Wallace had other ideas. Bob Wallace designed the Miura Jota in 1970 to meet the FIA's Appendix J racing requirements. The P400 Jota was built as a test mule with significant changes to the stock chassis and engine. Lightweight metal pieces were also added, and the window glass was replaced with plastic. Overall, the weight of the P400 Jota was lowered by 800 pounds, allowing it to deliver an astonishing 440 horsepower at over 9,000 RPM. This was accomplished by boosting the compression ratio, changing the cams, and making the exhaust system less restrictive. Unfortunately, only one automobile of this kind was produced, and it crashed and burnt on an unfinished ring road in Brescia in 1971. Due to the tremendous demand for the Miura S, the iconic Miura experienced its ultimate iteration in 1972 with the P400 Miura SV. The Miura P400 SV had a 4-liter, 385 horsepower V12 engine and could reach speeds exceeding 180 miles per hour. The gearbox oil and engine oil were finally separated in this generation, allowing for efficient lubrication in both regions. The SV, distinguished out for its revised rear suspension, wider track, and greater torque, although lacking Miura's trademark characteristics. The Miura SV was the world's fastest production vehicle at the time, and it remained as such until the debut of the Countach. The last Miura was manufactured in January 1973, and 150 of these cars were made between 1971 and 1972. Before the Miura was discontinued, a few one-off vehicles were made, 1 new and 5 more from spare parts from existing SVs. Despite its scarcity, most experts do not regard the SVJ as a legitimate SVJ, since it was converted long after the final Miura was produced. Though the Miura had a brief career, Lamborghini established the standard for modern supercars with sleek muscular aesthetics, a mid-mounted engine, and performance that defied belief. We bet you're wondering how much a vintage Lamborghini Miura would cost today. Well, so did we. Today, you could pay up to $4 million or more at auction to purchase a Lamborghini Miura. In fact, an SV special model sold for about $4.25 million in 2020, according to reports. That is a significant difference from the $20,000 starting price it had in the late 1960s. However, $20,000 in today's money is equivalent to about $155,000, and Miura have increased in value significantly since their introduction. It sure does cost a lot to own a piece of car history. A grand vision of Nuccio Bertone, brought to life by Lamborghini engineers with astonishing specifications that revolutionized the automobile industry. Truly, the Lamborghini Miura was super.